Hello friends and family, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm out in the greenhouse preparing some trees to get out of the greenhouse and out to the natural environment. First up is this pine, which I would have already shown you by the time I release this video. So just gonna take a spin. So if you haven't seen the other video when I thinned this out, there will be a link above. Okay, so this one goes out to the granite bonsai bench now, and we will take a look at some other coniferous plants and see what they need to do before they get out. So the Leggy Pine is out on my stone bench. It's really ugly pot, I know, but I'm growing it to get bigger and it's no hurry. And while we're here, I have up here 3 Japanese black pines that I'm training for Nivaki garden trees. And I have a few for backup in my greenhouse that I'm going to work on as well. So let's go back to the greenhouse. So this is the first of a few Japanese black pines. It's exactly the same age as the 3 ones I showed you before. And it's merely half the thickness. That's where the difference between growing in a pot and growing in the soil. So what I need to do here, since it is backup for the other pines, if one of them don't make it, I have more of them. So I just keep them in check, so I can fit them, so I have place for them. And if the other trees make it, I will have some bonsai material in the future. If not, I have my backup. So I'm just going to turn off the camera, clean up some needles, cut it, and I have one more. I show you both of them, so let's go to work. So 15 minutes later, and I have 2 pines. Just put them a little bit closer to the trunk, and yeah, there's some leggy growth still, but there's no back budding at those places, so I just yeah, let them recover and take them next year. So don't look much at the moment, but it will in the future. So those Japanese black pines goes out to the stone bench. While we're out here, I want to show you this. It's Dwarf Alberta Spruce. Those who's following my channel have seen me worked on a forest. But I also have one single plant that I have been experimenting with. So even though it's called dwarf, this one is almost 4 meters tall. So yeah, I guess it depends on the environment it's growing in. So but it's good to know, if you get dwarf Alberta spruce, if you don't control it, it will be like this. And that's not bad either. So let's go back to the greenhouse. So this is my first Dwarf Alberta Spruce. I've been playing with it for 4 years now, and it's really sad. There's so many beginner mistakes on it. For one, they are virtually impossible to wire. So it should be down here, but every time I release the wire, it goes back to the old position. And it's grown good last year, but this is one of the trees that I will be very careful with, so I will just wire it so it looks nice again, and as usual I will get back to you after the work. So a quick look at the Dwarf Alberta Spruce. It's a very sad looking tree with a lot of beginner mistakes, but as long as it's live, there are potential. So this one goes out on the bench. So let's take a look on the Dwarf Alberta Spruce forest. This is my second attempt on creating something from cheap Christmas trees. There will be a link up above. It was done in November, I think. So there's no really any idea to do something special with it. And this tree goes out to the bench. So now we are at Mesogo Pine. It's called Winter Gold, I think. It's very beautiful yellow needles in the winter. This is my first bonsai tree. It's 5 years since I found it in a garden center and thought, like, why don't I try bonsai? And you all know where that ended. It is very, very sensitive, and it needs a lot of reduction, but it has been reduced 2 years in a row now. So this year I will just selectively prune the tops of it and give it one more season before I do any bigger work on it. So I'll get back to you when it's done. So I have reduced the pine a little, the winter gold pine. I will refrain from wiring it at the moment. Just want to go slow with this one. I don't want to risk my first tree. So but at least everywhere on the pine now it's just 2 branches from one point. That's thinning out. Look for every place where it's more than 2 branches from the same point, and just get them out. It was a handful full of small branches, so not a dramatic change here. So this one goes out to the bench, and we take a look on another tree. So here we have the Juniper Cascade style, which I made a video about this winter. Since I worked on it this winter, and it really needs to recover a little bit, it goes straight out to the bench. Somewhere in the spring I might spend some time on the cascading branch, but that's for another update. This one goes to the bench. Most of my trees are own products and things I have been working on just a few years. this Chinese juniper is at least 20 years old and grown by an old man that sadly passed away. So I have been very fortunate to take over the legacy of this tree. It was carefully repotted and styled last spring, and it hasn't responded with any massive growth. I think it's still kind of good enough, and I want to make it strong, growing roots and really settle in the pot this year. And I might do a few small trimming on it, but for now I'm gonna send this one right out to my bench. So it's getting dark now. In a few hours or just 1.5 hours it will be dark, but I have saved the best for last. Don't you think? Isn't this a magnificent pine? You don't think so? Then I would like to tell you a little story. 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago, there was a traveling businessman that made a visit to Japan, to Tokyo. And on his trip he visited the Imperial Garden, the Emperor's home. And by that home there's beautiful 2,500-year-old pines or something, I don't know. It's just a story, so, but it's beautiful pines. And yeah, just by accident, I guess, a pine cone just fell into his backpack, and he didn't realize at all until he was back in Sweden. And it just so happens that this traveling businessman happened to be a tree lover. So he immediately realized that he has the offspring of the very famous Imperial Garden trees. Isn't that nice? The story may or may not be true, I don't know, but somehow I got a baby of the Imperial trees here. That's what you're watching. This one I will do nothing to at the moment. I just want to make it grow strong and grow old, and if I live 2,500 years, it will be beautiful, I promise you. So thanks a lot for watching. Stay home, stay safe, take care, bye.